Hello and welcome to the God is Geek podcast. My name is Adam Cook. I'm your host this week and pretty much most weeks. And it's week 2 of me thinking as I watch the intro, I really should do something about that and add some more current modern stuff to it. And maybe some of you are thinking, yeah, well, there's a few people that aren't on the podcast as much anymore. Well, bam! Chris White's here right now. There's his face.
Hello.
You all right, mate?
I don't know what that was. I don't know. I was trying to, I don't know. I hadn't had anything planned,
No.
And I just went back about 20 years, but
Yeah,
hello.
and some.
Yeah, and some.
That's good. That's good. And we've got as well. As the second week, Adam has been unable to knock corpse during the intro, but here he is. It's Adam Carroll. No intro planned for you, mate, because you know there you are.
That's all right. I just want to be known as DJ Little from now on.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
And when we want to talk to you, can we say DJ Lethal?
Oh, every time.
Bring it on.
Every time.
Wicked. All right.
I'm enjoying the box behind you. That's I've just noticed now. Just as noticed now, has got writing on it. Yep.
Yeah.
And you're now regretting.
Susan's stuff.
Well, I can only see the stuff. Bit of Susan's stew. All right, is what I can see. So.
Yeah, it's a stew there.
It's lovely stew. This is lovely stew. Would you say it was a stew of like enjoyable things like rally driving and drifting and jumping? And would you say that was in that box? That's definitely.
It's not your best effort, but we roll with it.
No, I mean I could have
wheels on a car.
You could be toy cars in there. Hot Wheels.
He said rolling with it, and I said, "What, like wheels on a car?"
Well, Forza Horizon 5, ladies and gentlemen, is a video game that's not out at the time of recording this, but it will be. Well, it's one of those. Microsoft are doing this thing now, right, where they know everyone's into Game Pass. I think the last stat was like 18 million people or something like that. And so I think this is their thing from now on. I bet that we get this with Halo as well, is where if you pay extra, you get like the special edition digitally, but you also get 4 days early access. I don't know why I've said that, because that's not what we've had. We've been playing a review copy of it, Chris, haven't we?
We have, mate. We have.
And you gave it just a small score, nothing worth mentioning, really. Just
I don't. It couldn't have been anything else.
No, I agree.
Like, obviously, you work your arse off.
Let's not talk about the barns.
No, I think just a quick mention. Those barn finds, Adam, behind the scenes, Adam worked his arse off to get that guide up. So when you're travelling around trying to find them barns, head to God is a Geek, because
please do, actually.
Mate,
please,
it's worth
please
it. But like, the game is obviously it's I don't know where to start, because like,
it's massive.
Visually,
Let's start there. Like, start.
I mean, it's mental how big it is. The map is ridiculous. There's 11 whole biomes. They range from everywhere. Like, you could be riding around in this massive desert to like these dense jungles to like little mini towns and mountains, and you're just cruising like around Mexico. And like, the fact that the driving, the handling across every car is superb.
Yeah.
Like, you will find a car you prefer, but when you have to do like missions where it's in a car that you've never driven before, you can become acclimatized to it quite quickly. I think they've nailed that. But then it's been fantastic for ages.
Yes.
But like the amount of content as well, man. It is ridiculous. You've got races opening up all the time. Like, the main kind of thread, I guess, is the story chapters. And accolade points, you earn accolade points throughout everything you do. When you get a certain amount of accolade points, you can open up a new chapter, and each chapter is split up into 6 festivals, all focusing on something in particular, like dirt racing or
the different disciplines, isn't it?
Or
did you have a favourite? I mean, this is the thing, right? We haven't actually had a chance to talk about this game, you and I, despite playing it in tandem, because I have been laser focused on guiding these barns to the point where I like Mick handled the edit of the review and the video. I haven't even seen it, let alone read it. So I was going to ask you if you played in like performance or graphics mode or whatever, or which did you?
I play solely with performance. I did try out
okay.
the other one, but I preferred it just because I wanted it to. I love the cross country. I love the Jungle Expedition one.
The Baja, was it Baja? How do you say it? Baja.
Yeah, the one, the orange one.
Yes.
Just because that first mission where you're just driving through the jungle and it's all kind of based on cross country, so off the grid, off the roads, and just tazzing around through like the wildlife and stuff. Like it's amazing. Like it feels so good, and you'd be like it feels like there's haptic feedback because I feel like the vibrations are so diverse for an Xbox controller, which doesn't have that capability. I feel like
Did you find yourself thinking about that? Because I did a few times. I was like, oh, imagine, because there was that rumor that they did like a survey ages ago asking about what PlayStation did, that people, do you think it's a worthy thing, the haptics? And obviously, that. And
I don't think, I couldn't care less about haptics. I think when it's done right, like with Ratchet, it's perfect. But a lot of people, it's a tag on thing, and it feels unnatural sometimes. But I think it'd be fine without it. Xbox, I don't think it's a selling point. But so I love that. I love the PR stunts, just mucking about. And then like you just in between missions, you've got to earn accolade points. You kind of get the majority of those through the story missions, don't you? You get like 1,500 normally, and then there's like beating like the speed traps back and like danger signs where you can fly off a ramp and see how far you get as distance. You get a few accolades for that. There's like the Horizon Arcade where you go and play mini games and stuff like that, or race, or do like drifting around a certain track collaboratively with other players to earn so many points. It's just packed full of everything. Like there's so much, and when it feels so good to play, and it looks so incredible, it's like nothing gets tiresome, and you're constantly rewarded. Like I don't know if you can buy credits on Xbox Live. Like you can buy not credits, like anything to unlock new stuff, but I feel like you would never need to, because the amount of new cars you unlock just by playing.
Well, that's something that I think is a really interesting point, because like in the past with like Forza Horizon 4, they did like the Hot Wheels DLC and Lego. This, because I've heard people say things like regarding this game with like oh yeah, it looks amazing, it's getting rave reviews, and it is. It's like I think it's like one of the highest Metacritic rated games of the year already, and so people say that, and then they go, but the thing is, I'm not really a huge driving game guy, and I don't want to put driving fans off, but this is see, I don't really want to say it, but it's kind of.
No, I think you need to. I think
Ubisofty in a way, in that if you like games where you're kind of like check the box, check, that sort of thing.
It's a gamer's driving game. Like I never choose to go and play on a racing game. Like
no, but when you play it,
other than Mario Kart and whatnot, I don't go right. What should I do tonight? I don't know. I'll play on Dirt 4 or whatever.
Yeah, same.
Forza,
I enjoy it when I do, but they're not.
Yeah, but I would happily go. I want to play Forza tonight.
Absolutely,
because it's so great. Like there's so many things you can do. It's so like the community, the sense of community in it is also like fantastic. Like
that's something they newly added as well, haven't they? With the barn finds. I mean, not to mention the barn finds again, but now once you find a barn, it's not kind of it. I don't remember this being enforced, but I might be wrong.
It wasn't.
You can now leave a gift. Yeah, gift. You can gift a car so that if someone else comes to the barn another time, they get the car you've gifted them, and like it's a lovely little. Again, I really feel positive about
Dark
this game.
Souls, but there's no bad messages.
Yes,
like you will always like someone. You can like send any car from your garage, and like have it like you can decorate them as well.
You can like. I did that during the review period, and I accidentally sent a car that was part of the seasonal things, and I had to go and then rebuy it because I needed it for some stuff to unlock. And I was like, oh shit, but it's
but like the kind of. The stuff you unlock, you've got the wheel spins, which you get more or less from every level up.
Yep.
You get from doing certain challenges. When you complete certain accolade, like there's like an accolade tracker, isn't there? For like completing story missions or for finding so many XP boards or for completing so many races. You'll get cars that way and you'll get wheel spins that way. You'll get different horns, which might not sound like much, but when you can unlock like Ride of the Valkyrie and the Halo music.
I'm going along with the Doom theme tune. Every time I don't know how I got it.
Valkyries, but there's like the Windows 10 startup and
I know.
Like that,
I thought about getting that to wind people up, like just as you drive around, do that, and people think their PC's crashed.
Yeah,
like,
but like it's just mega fun. Like I'm not a huge racing fan, but I could play that all day.
I did. Many times.
Well, you did, yeah.
For about a week. It's I think it's also like they've made some smart changes, like the way like there's almost like raids and stuff in there. There's stuff we actually haven't been able to test because it's so multiplayer focused. But it's a testament to what's there without that we feel absolutely comfortable both saying, yep, 10 out of 10 video game. Like when there's still, because it's not even if like it's not going to be bad, that other stuff, and even if it is, it's like, well, we didn't even touch that, and it's one of the best games of the year. You know,
nothing's gonna make that score any less or make that review any weaker.
No, it's only going to make it better. Like,
no, exactly.
It's just it's a phenomenal video game, and I really do encourage people to be like, don't go into it thinking, because look, I know you're probably watching the video of it going, yeah, but it's a racing game, and it's got like racing lines. Yeah, but like that's a small part of the game, really. You don't have to do those races. You do have to do a few, but generally speaking, you can just treat it like Burnout Paradise and just go around smashing into boards and, you know, doing jumps and collecting XP boards and like, buying houses.
A lot of the missions aren't races.
Yes.
Are they? Like
no,
a lot
not
of the starting mission, because there's like 4 story chapters per festival, isn't there?
Yeah, that's right.
And like the first one's normally like an expedition where you have to go to a certain location and take photos and find like certain items by flying up ramps, and like there's a lot of that kind of stuff which doesn't even touch racing. And then there's like skill challenges where you have to get a certain amount of skill points by doing like drifting and jumps and whatnot. There's just so much, and also I just want to point out the radio, like the amount of songs is great, like some really good tracks on. But then when you're driving around listening to a radio station, the radio host will be like, and the next song is like, you do any tricks whilst the song plays, then you get double skill points.
Felt very natural to me, the radio stuff.
Yes, it is. And like you're like, oh, cool. So I'm in a bit of an area where I could probably get away with some tricks. And it's so, I hate saying immersive, but it is. It like really,
for a car game, the story's all right, isn't it? I know that sounds a bit like damning it with faint praise, but for a car game, the story's all right.
I was concerned. Like I never mentioned this about Far Cry, but I always felt it was very much playing on the stereotypes of Mexican people or South American people. But Forza does not do that. Like it's very authentic, and they did go to Mexico, and they obviously have people there that they've spoken to, and it's never like they're not, it's not like underlay part, like really.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's very respectful, and like you get that from a lot of the stories, because like
it's more like family and pinatas and stuff.
The mother, the daughter with the granddad who wants to restore the car for a granddad.
Yeah,
and there's like lucha wrestling.
Yeah, that's right.
There's all sorts.
I mean, what you're seeing on screen now for those watching the video is one of the new, well, not disciplines, but the Trailblazers, which are, I think this might be one of the last ones. I can't remember, but the Trailblazer missions are fantastic because they. This is what I like doing. Just like when there's a racing line, just go, yeah, but I could just go across that field. Like if anyone who drives a car and who's never like seen a field and gone, I could just drive across that and I'd get there so much quicker. Like this is. The Trailblazer missions are that.
This is how everyone went to work.
Yeah, the amount of times I did that.
Yeah, like
I'd be caning like if I land at the end. With these skill points. And then I hit a tree and then it all goes away. The amount of times I'd hit a tree or a house or a bloody rock.
And
then, but no.
I mean, to put it into context, just quickly before I forget. But into context, at one point, my son, about people saying, "Oh, it's a racing game. It's a racing game." At one point, my younger son came in the room. And he said, "What are you doing?" Because to his eyes, I was driving around just driving into cactuses. Because that's what I was doing, because there was a little thing for getting 100 cactuses knocked down. I was literally doing that. So the idea of it being, oh, I'm not into racing games. Like he walked in and it probably looked really boring. I was just driving around an area where there was loads of cacti and just smashing them all down. Because I needed to get 100 to get a couple of Forza points towards my like seasonal objective. So, sorry, Ad, you were saying.
I know I played a good chunk of the last 2 Horizon games, and I think when the reviews are going to drop for this, I was like, this is going to be tens.
It is, yeah.
And what do you think there's anything else that they could do going forward? It almost feels like Forza Horizon has been like top tier for quite a while now, and everyone is just like, it's just brilliant. It just always is.
I think this is as far as they can go. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do next? Do they do the Japan one that everyone keeps saying they should do?
Like, it sounds like
how
the
do they?
content in this.
Yes.
It sounds like there's just so much content.
I genuinely, I think this is one thing I did say to you, Chris. I said it to someone anyway. I genuinely think there's 100 hours of game here if you want it. If you want it, like, you don't have to have it. Is that a dog?
The dog's arse.
That was a bit strange. I was like, what's yeah. No, that like, so like, easily. In fact, I had the only criticism I have is the same thing you had, and it's the map is I'm not going to say cluttered, but it's a little bit overawing. You're like,
to be fair, it like, because I obviously I agree with you, but there's obviously a filter where you can choose what's shown.
And I did use that.
Yeah, so if you don't want all those cross country races and all these bloody community created things on there, then just take them off. If you want to just find your story, like markers or waypoints, take it all off and just leave you. So yeah, there's options for any small inconvenience you may have with it. Like, they've thought of everything,
big time. Yeah, I mean, it's a ringing endorsement for me. Like, there's so little to complain about with this game, and it feels like it gives you sort of so much. I just would implore people to not go, yeah, it's a racing game, though. Yeah, it is. Like, it is. But there's just a lot more to it. Speaking of there being a lot of video game, that does segue into Shin Megami Tensei 5V, Chris, which you also reviewed.
I did, yeah. What a beast.
Yeah.
Not me. Oh, I can be sometimes. But the game is massive. Like, people might not know what this series is, and I wasn't hugely familiar with it, but obviously I'm hugely familiar with Persona, which came from this, so it shares a lot of similarities with it, like in terms of the creatures and the turn-based and other small like things like the Velvet Room and the World of Shadows, where you go and fuse your demons, personas, whatnot. But it's obviously a much darker tone, and it's all business. Like, it's straight in, go and fight these demons, get battered, learn from it, go back, win, get battered, go back. And like, you do grind. There are certain periods where you are grinding. However, I think, like, because the last JRPG I played, I think, was probably Bravely Default 2. So I had a bad time with that, and I didn't enjoy that grind. It was not just repetitive; it was poorly organized, and it was too, not difficult, but it took too long to get to a decent level before you had to move on. Whereas this, I feel like the combat is so fantastic that you're quite happy to go back, grind up a bit, get new, like, because in this, it's you, the protagonist, and demons. Have you ever played a Shin Megami, Adam Carroll?
One of the early ones.
So,
like, you know, like,
so yeah, no, that's fine. So they're called demons, but just think of them as personas, because a lot of them are the same. There are a lot of them are the same, like jack-o'-lanterns in it and that kind of thing. And
yeah.
So they're all kind of share the same characters. They're obviously new ones, but you do exactly what you do in Persona, where you talk to them, or you get them to join you, and then you fight with them. You can level them up, or you can fuse them with other demons to create better demons. And there's that was the addictive part for me. Like, I got really into going out there, like seeing like a high level that I wanted to talk to and bring with me, and do whatever I could to get him. And like, it might mean keep going back to the same area over and over again until he'd finally listen to me. Because a lot of them, because they're demons, they're dickheads. So they'll like go, well, I'll join you, but give me some money. So you give them some money, and they're like, a bit more, and even a bit more. And I'd given up one of them. I didn't even want him. I don't even know why I did it, but it was 600 Maka, which is the credit, like 3 health potions, and he was like, "See you later." He disappeared.
Peace.
So yeah, so they're some of them are real buggers, but then some of them, like, all you need to do is prove your strength to them. There's certain like questions they'll ask you, and it's just about answering correctly. So there's lots of different ways to get them. You can all, like, as I say, you can fuse them together in the World of Shadows, which is like the hub. At every kind of save point, you can go there and do that. And in the early stages, there's a lot. Oh, there she is. My dog's popped up. There's a lot of like weak demons to start with, and then like as you get further and further, that you obviously gain more powerful ones. And once you fight like the first boss, I thought, after that it all kind of came into place and clicked. Hey, hello.
Do you know what? If you're just listening to this podcast, we should explain. Earlier on, a dog just sort of popped up on the sofa behind Chris, and now all of a sudden its head's just there going, hello. And it's gone now.
The perfect placement.
It was, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's that addiction to mucking around with different demons and using their essences. Like you can take abilities from one demon and give to another.
I wasn't sure that was particularly brilliantly explained at the start of the game, because I got a little bit confused, and I've played a lot of these games, and I was like, what the hell am I doing? And I ended up having to go back, read it all again. Like I think maybe it was I just didn't take it in, because once I understood it was fine.
No, you're right, because I didn't to start with. It was only until I really like sat with it and played around that's because you basically, when you choose who you want to have the ability, then you click on the demon whose ability you want. They all appear in the same pool, if you know what I mean. So then you obviously have to pick them all to go back to you. So that it doesn't explain it very well. But
the one that I was confused most about was like not the actual skill, where you're like, right, so you've got the fairy and you want to, what's it called? Dia? Is it Dia? Dio? The health.
The health one.
You want to give that to your protagonist. That stuff I ended up working out okay. I've not played an awful lot of this game, so this might just be me being an idiot and not having played enough of it. The one I wasn't getting was where you can also give them, you can take attributes, or like what I was understanding it to be is that if that demon was particularly resistant to fire, you can inherit that. But I'm guessing that you have to do it a lot, because it never changed my stats. Like I did that, and then I went back to a save point because I was like, it didn't seem to change my stats. So I don't know if you just have to do it a lot, or more powerful demons. I don't know, but it's a dense game in that respect. There's a lot.
Like, there's miracles as well, which
Christ, yeah.
You can. There's like a currency called glory, and you get that from either finding it in the wild, or finding these little creatures called mimans.
Yep.
And you find one of them, you get 5 glory, or you find like a big silver like thing, and it gives you 50 glory. And then you can buy miracles, which basically they can give you mastery over a certain like element. So it'll +1 to your fire damage, or +1 to your light or dark damage, and it builds them up. You can use it to have additional skill slots for you and your demons, or you can even have an additional slot for a new demon to join your party. So there's a lot to play with constantly, and you're constantly changing up, but you can really kind of fine-tune your party. When you've got that one kind of new demon that you want to be focused solely on, like the kind of health, or the kind of not the attacks, but like raising defense, or lowering the defense of an opponent, or raising the attack of one of yours, or there's lots of ways to kind of form that perfect party. So when you get going and you've started to find the better higher level demons, it's not as much of a struggle, but like it's constantly challenging, even on casual.
I'm going to admit I dropped it down. I'm going to admit I dropped it down after a couple of hours, because I was.
It's too, but then apparently they're releasing a patch with like a.
Well, the thing is,
I don't know why they didn't just release that at the time.
Yeah, I know. The thing that I found, I think, a little confusing is that in this I nearly said Persona. Then I don't get shot. In this Shin Megami Tensei, what they've kind of made it more interactive in terms of the world. Like you can run around the world and jump and climb stuff and do all that sort of stuff. But what they've also done is that now in this one, the new one, Shin Megami Tensei 5, the enemies are in the world. You can run up to them, or they will run at you, and you can battle them. It's that modern version. Like, well, if you attack them first, you get the,
like Persona, yeah,
like Persona.
Yeah.
Whereas they used to be more a case of it was more of the random battles thing. Which, to me, when you're opening the world up and saying go fight if you want, because you can see that Mandrake over there and whatever. The suggestion I think I misinterpreted was that, well, since I don't have to fight them because it's not a random battle, it's down to me. Whereas really, I think what you are supposed to do is from the very start grind. And I didn't.
Which leads into just when you're saying that as well. Chris Phil Tillin in the comments there said, "How are the environments? The game world looks very empty, bland from the videos compared to the likes of Persona 4.
The video stuff people are seeing is the very first area.
So,
I should point that out.
To be fair, I was in that area for about.
It definitely seems like you're there a while.
8 hours. I was in there for a while, and that's a case of getting through those different sections, and there's a couple of boss fights. But you go back to. I don't know. I'm sure I can say this but you go back to it must be in the synopsis because you go back to Tokyo. Yeah.
It's just no story spoilers essentially is what.
You go back to real world Tokyo because that is it's not an alternate reality, but it's the Tokyo from 18 years ago where this war between the demons and the angels wiped everything out and this got taken away. But anyway, you go back to Tokyo in the real world. You fight in a school that's haunted by these demons. Like it's not just there. There's like a map that opens up in the real world, and there's a lot of different kind of places on it that you get to go to. So it's not just solely in this barren desert, which I panicked and thinking it was when I first started.
I must admit, for a while I was like, this seems. It's one of those was like, why did you open with this area? I mean, they kind of have to, I guess, story wise, it's sort of.
That's another thing though. Like the story, it's. Like the cutscenes at least, or the visuals, they're really good. Obviously it looks a lot better than the last one because it's on 3DS. Like the last entry, number 4.
It doesn't. It looks like a Switch open world game, if that makes any sense. It
does.
Sorry, a third party Switch open world game. There's no getting around
it. It's big. It's a big world.
Yeah, it's vast.
It's not small. But it's not like open world, but it's satisfying enough for you to wander around. And
Near Automata. It's sort of the near
I'm getting that
sort of vibe.
Yeah,
but instead of the kind of washed out, contrasty look, it's more of a anime colourful look. I mean, it's a Shin Megami Tensei game, and it's on Switch, and it's
hardcore. If you're expecting Persona, you're not getting Persona.
No, but it's probably the closest you will get to it, unless they do eventually put one on.
You're getting a really kind of strict JRPG.
Yes.
That certainly rewards you for sticking to the rules, like paying attention to the resistances, your strengths.
It's quite
building
brave.
Your party.
It's quite brave to put a game like this out in 2021 because although this is Shin Megami Tensei 5 released in 2021, there's a lot of Shin Megami Tensei of old in this game. And that's quite brave because, apart from anything else, Persona, their own series that spun out from it, has shown the way forward, maybe? Tales of Arise, games are modernising, and this is like you said, strict, and that's the word I think that's a real good one.
I kind of like the fact that there's no... I don't want to say filler because I don't think Persona's got filler, but there are certain times where you are talking and talking.
Yeah, you want to. I've got an hour and a half, and I really kind of wanted to get through this dungeon.
Someone's talking to me about what they had for lunch yesterday. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, can we just go and fight some bloody Personas in
you can't really sit down with a Persona game for less than 2 hours, can you?
No, and then
you just can't
this you're literally thrown in, and yes, there are some dialogue and some cutscenes, but like I said earlier, it's all business. Yeah. You're straight in. There's that steep learning curve.
Yes.
But you are rewarded so much for playing tactically and for expanding
There's no talking about what's in your sandwich in this game.
I didn't have one sandwich chatter.
Did you play mostly handheld or TV?
I played mostly handheld.
So it's happened. Did you play mostly handheld before that, the OLED? I'm getting at the OLED here because you haven't been on since the OLEDs came out, and I find myself now I am playing a lot of OLED in handheld.
I only played the TV on the TV just to see if there was a massive difference, like if whether I needed to mention it or not. But like the OLED, like obviously it looks fantastic. Every game I've played on there is great. Like looks really good, really sharp. And the sound as well, obviously, because it's coming through the front speakers. It's the way to play anything on the Switch at the minute, I think. It's obviously a lot crisper in detail because there are times where it kind of maybe feels like someone smeared some Vaseline on the telly because it's quite, not blurred, but not as sharp as it is on the OLED screen. But like, it's not like it still looks great on the telly. Like and everything about it, like as I said, the cutscenes, the battle scenes are great. They're very animated, a lot different to the last one where it was all kind of static screen. If you want that hardcore JRPG where you are given rewards for spending time with it, then it's absolutely up your street.
Well, on that note, we could talk about Football Manager. It's probably for the best we don't at the moment because I'm trying to.
No, you know what? Before we move on, can I just quickly want to mention because I think it's worth it. Time Loader.
Shit, yeah.
On PC.
That looks great.
I just want people to go and play it.
I really enjoy. It's one of those where I was editing your video content, and I was like, "Oh, this looks really good." It's like, man, it's really only PC. It looks so good.
It's not just the gameplay; it's the story, man. Like I wasn't expecting it to. Because it starts off quite.
Has to be called Adam, doesn't he?
Yeah, I know. Because obviously you have an accident as a child and you're left in a wheelchair and you grow older and you then create a time machine and try to send this little robot back in time to get rid of the toy car that you slipped on. But by doing so, it creates another accident and you end up doing the same thing. But it gets to a point where you manage to kind of not end up in a wheelchair, but something far worse happens. And it's like, oh my God, this is horrific. But like the gameplay is just fantastic, and it's a really really well-made physics-based puzzler. And I think people should just go and check it out. If you've got a PC, hopefully it'll be on like Switch. It will be perfect on the Switch. It would, because the way you control the little robot, but it'll release on other consoles.
It really looks like the kind of game that would come to other consoles.
Good Game Pass game, that.
Yeah, and that too.
A good Game Pass game would be nice.
We mustn't talk about Football Manager because I intended to just sit down and go, I haven't played one for a while, what's this like? And then when I looked at my Steam library, I played that for 4 hours, and I realised that I must not boot that game up again. But go to godasageek.com and read the review of it, of course, absolutely. Adam Carroll, what have you been up to? What have you been playing?
I have been playing some stuff. I will start off with saying I have played Guardians of the Galaxy. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Is there any other?
Telltale, is there?
Oh, shit, yeah, there is.
Oh, yeah.
No, but that's still Marvel, isn't it? That's still Marvel. That's what I meant when you said Marvel.
Anyway, the new Guardians of the Galaxy game. Chris, you reviewed this. You haven't spoken about it yet, but I'll just give my 2 cents on it. I've been all week trying to think of what to say about this game.
How far are you in before we get going? Like,
I'm nearly finished it.
You sure? Do you want to say what chapter or number, if you can remember?
14.
You're not far. You're not far. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say straight off that I think it's a bit shit.
Oh man. Oh well.
I know.
Oh, man, what?
No, hang on a second. I know. Look, I've been look. The Guardian stuff is, for the most part, pretty okay with me. I think, like, when I don't know much about comic stuff with this crew. The movies I do. I like 1, did not like 2, and that's that. This game, I didn't know if I was going to be getting. I said this last week. I didn't know if I was going to be getting either a kind of a Spider-Man kind of jobby or kind of Avengers or in between, and it seems like it's kind of in between, but leaning more to the Avengers style of game. And I think this game starts off really cool. It nails all the 80s stuff really well. The music is fantastic. The opening it's really entertaining straight away. Like, what, I won't spoil what it is, but the very first thing you start doing, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna probably like this straight away. And then it kind of starts in that first chapter or so, whatever, introduces the kind of like mechanics of the game, obviously. But this is where the biggest problem is for me. I think the gameplay is fucking terrible. I think
terrible.
It is. Yeah, I think it's really, really not that like great in terms of how it feels. I think the shooting and stuff like that feels very just off. Like, there's not a whole pile of like weight to the jumping in it, and the combat feels clunky and messy at times. Like, honestly, trying to control the rest of the gang with all their skills just doesn't feel like I'm nailing it in a great way. It just feels like enemies come at you and you just kind of start spamming almost. Right. It feels at times. Like, it's not to say that like it's not unplayable by any stretch of the imagination. It's just not. But it never felt like it was like, I've heard comparisons now to the likes of Uncharted. It's absolutely
no, it's not an Uncharted style game at all. It's Mass Effect if it's anything.
Yeah. That's very, very much on point. And it's kind of like, I think it could have just been a bit more polished. I do remember seeing when we got our first glimpse of the game, I remember looking at going,
Chris, he doesn't even know. He's played it post-patch. You know.
I had it crashed for me post-patch.
Oh, see, I've never had a crash, not one.
I had a crash. I did a crash.
I wrote the review post-patch, so the stuff we had to deal with had been patched. Christ. You know, according to the notes, but there were other things that I had. So that didn't seem to fix.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
I had a full blown, like, it just froze and shut down completely. And
was it during, without spoiling, was it during like a massive fight?
Yeah.
Oh, was it a boss fight in pit area?
It was a boss fight for me anyway.
Because I've heard about that one being a regular crash.
Yeah.
Well, it happened, and it sucked because it's just annoying. But I think then, right, like, what it's doing.
Shit, you know what? It's just occurred to me watching our own footage.
What?
Too Human. Do you remember Too Human?
I do, on Xbox 360.
Just looking at our footage, like, just sort of taken away from it a bit. Like, oh, but I still liked it. Sorry, go on, Anne.
So I'm just gonna say, like, I think, like, when you get a kind of a safe enough flow, and by safe I mean just I suppose a good enough flow, and you're kind of sliding around and dodging. It kind of looks cool. It feels all right then, I suppose. But like, it just never felt like it was solid, no matter how much I got used to it or how many skills I unlocked or abilities and stuff. I was like, okay, it is what it is. Also, there were moments, I don't know if this is the case for you guys, but like, I am playing on a 4K TV and all that jazz. Like, there's an early on kind of thing that you do with Rocket, where you kind of have a competition with each other and you try to blow up these like things around the place. When some of the textures look so ugly.
I definitely didn't see that.
I thought they looked super ugly. But then, like, the face animation stuff are really solid, and that kind of presentation is pretty good. And look, story and dialogue is decent enough. I wasn't like going, oh, whatever. However, I will say Rocket is a pain in the hole.
Yep.
He is a pain in the hole throughout the game for me. The whole kind of like, the crack just gets way too much with him.
I think that's fair.
It's like, I know that's what it is, but it's like every goddamn second somebody has to be saying this thing, and I'm not trying to be this like crank about it, but like, it's just a bit like, okay, like, it does give you an option to either answer or not answer. I was just not answering. I was like, just shut up for a second.
Did you notice the amount of times as well? This, like, the Star-Lord says, guys. The amount of times, like, guys, we're a team. It's like every flipping chapter.
Yeah, but I had to say, right, Rocket is just constantly pissed off, and it's not enjoyable. Like, I
found it surprising how much I disliked him for most of the game.
Because he's great. He's kind of like, I get that that's kind of his character, but like in the movies, I never felt like that.
But do you think if the film was like 10 hours long?
Yes, this is the other thing.
Like,
maybe.
Because
I also think he has a payoff. I think I said that when we first talked about it, when the embargo lifted on this pod, that like I feel like each character has actually got an arc in this game, and I feel like they all are they're earned and they're justified, and that's one thing I really you know you haven't finished it, and I'm not saying you're suddenly going to go, oh no, the combat was great. If you don't like the combat, you don't like the combat. I did like the combat. I'm not here to say I think it's like the best, but it is.
But it's definitely not like it's not that satisfying. That's the thing. And it almost feels like it was very much in the back burner. Like the gameplay.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah,
it's not that like amazing in terms of like it's not creating anything new or anything like that, and that's fine. But it just doesn't like. It's not the talking point of the game. It almost feels like let's get the crack, let's get the 80s, let's get this kind of fun out of the Guardians of the Galaxy in a game, and just that's the main focus of it. Like. There's a lot more to like, and I'm sure if you're fans of Guardians of the Galaxy, you're going to probably enjoy it.
See, I did really enjoy that whole I enjoyed the story a great deal. I really did. Like, I can't. It's just really enjoyable.
Have to say, just going back to that opener of the game as well, like it is very much enjoyable. But that first chapter is terrible. It is terrible at like the environment is not nice or.
It's also quite a slow starting game, actually. It's a slow starting game.
It's a slow start. You're shooting shitty enemies, and it's just like, wait.
And then you're shooting a lot of enemies, and you're not really sure what you're supposed to be doing because it unlocks their characters so slowly.
Yeah, but
still liked it.
Look,
sorry.
It's just I totally get it, and it's not at all like a terrible game. I'm just not like my mind isn't blown. Like,
no, I can totally see why people would bounce off it as well. I just. There was something about it that it might have been the story. I just felt compelled to just keep going, and I wanted to see where it went.
Look, as I said, the story in it, there is beats of decent emotion and delivery in it. Like it is good. Like there's even with all what I say about Rocket, like there's a very, very. It is not a real spoiler, but there's a moment very early on where Rocket looks at Groot and says, "I love that guy," and it's just like you're like, yeah.
I also and
your relationship is.
I said this the other day, but I feel like the voice actress for Gamora is the best voice acting I've heard in a game this year. I really, really do. I think it's absolutely so natural. But I've said it before. Whatever.
Yeah, it's decent, not essential in my opinion. But if someone said that they loved it and they were enjoying it, I'd be like, okay.
Okay. What else have you been up to then?
No. I've been playing Life is Strange True Colors.
Okay.
True colors
every time. Which do you prefer, Phil Collins or the Cyndi Lauper version?
Cyndi Lauper. Sorry, mate. Love a bit of Cyndi Lauper. She was my first record I ever bought.
Really?
There's something for you.
No, that was.
I feel like we had this discussion. I don't know if you said Cyndi Lauper to me.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
That's a banger.
And R. Kelly, you got that vibe. So look at me now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Life is Strange True Colors. I won't go on this too long. I absolutely did not get on with the first Life is Strange, which made me not play. Like I finished that whole one, but I was cringing so goddamn much. I just couldn't deal with it. Yep. I just didn't connect with it whatsoever. And then you have whatever 2 or whatever came from, because this is obviously a different developers, and it did.
Yeah.
This is Deck 9.
Yeah.
Deck 9 did True Colors, and it did Before the Storm. If that's the one.
Not sure.
Yeah.
And then there was Life is Strange 1 and Life is Strange 2 was done then by Don't Nod. I think that's what went on there. I don't know what made me want to play this one. I think it's just kind of like...
It's very strange. When I saw this on the list, I was like, what? But it's fine.
Life is Strange, Adam.
Yeah, well, it is. Yeah.
But the thing about it is, I was just kind of like, I want to check this out. You know, we're coming to the end of the year, and there's a few things I kind of feel like I could play this and get.
You weren't desperate for a best story thing to happen, because like that's the one category that I'm really struggling. Like I can't think of too many games this year where I'm like, oh, that story was.
Okay.
So.
I will say that Life is Strange True Colors is an absolutely phenomenal game. I think it is super. I absolutely loved every character. I loved, like, the story's fantastic. The town is, I want to live in the town.
So do I. It looks
not
like
what's
a
going on there,
Hallmark movie.
Oh man, the town is so good. Alex, the protagonist, is superb. I think it's who's the pub owner? Jed.
I love him.
Top man.
Yeah, he is a top man.
Give him a good old hug. But I think the presentation is superb. I think it looks fantastic. The facial animations, the voice acting, you really couldn't have done any better with it. The music is excellent. You got Phoebe Bridgers, Bonobo. There's just copious amounts of like stuff that I enjoy in that soundtrack. But I think everything that it does, it's made me want to go back and maybe like just check out the other ones just to see, because there's such a development from that first Life is Strange that just like it's mental. But like Chris, you reviewed it, and I'm sure you gave it a 9 if I'm correct on that.
I did, yes.
I'd probably go a little bit higher myself. I think it's just the story and the way it rolls. And I know this is what this game is supposed to do. It's supposed to make you feel very sad. And it does tell a story that's... There's a lot of stuff that's going on with these characters. And it never... I'd say there was one moment of where I kind of went, bit cringy. It's to do with a little kid that's in it, but it's just...
I thought you were going to say something else. Because like for me,
hang on, no, are you going to talk about the Kings of Leon?
I am, I am,
shit.
Because that was because the first Life is Strange, I loved it, but it was bordering on like a bit cringy, but I still stuck with it. It's great. And then Life is Strange Before the Storm, I was like, nah, I can't. I'm not young enough to appreciate it. I'm not hip and I don't get it. And then when they did that, I was like, oh, it's ruined. They've ruined it. It's stupid. They're like playing air guitar and air drums like to Kings of Leon, and it's just like, oh. But then
it's very funny because you're like, my choices are terrible. How do I stop this? Like you're like, no.
But then by the bit where they're released, I won't ruin it. But when they're releasing the Sky Lanterns, I was like, oh.
Yeah. But this is the thing, though, right? For that cringy moment that happens that we're talking about. The kind of like, because it's a Kings of Leon record that they're doing this moment or whatever, that record stays there, and I think every time, because of what happens with the story, when you see it, just I forgive it massively. That particular moment in Life is Strange 1 was just, oh god, like where's my pillow? I can't look at this. This is just too much. But this delivers so much more in what you can even do. Like what you can even do in the town, walking around and just like interacting with everything is like all the dialogue is very strong. And if you remember, Chris, and I would have to say that this has to go on the best moment discussion for me, but it's chapter 3. If you remember chapter 3, LARPing basically.
Yes.
It's really fucking cool, like what they do there. I was so surprised by this game. Like, I
was. I agree.
Yeah, it's not to say that I was going in there with like the intention that this is going to be so terrible, but it's exactly what I thought I was going to get for the first Life is Strange.
It's the power that put me off playing it. When they advertise, when they market
it does. Yeah, again, that was what I was like. Like you could feel emotions.
Well, no, it was literally
so well.
Did they not advertise it or market it as the power of empathy?
Yes.
And I think maybe I was in a bad place, but I feel like at the time I was like, if we really need to make empathy a superpower, we're so fucked. How can we be in a position where empathy needs to be something that is like special? Empathy's natural, isn't it? And when I saw that was the power, I was like, I don't know if I can play a game where something so core to my beliefs is like some superpower. It's like it's just.
But it's
I'm completely.
Go on.
No, I'm completely with you, Ed, on saying that. I was the exact same, but I think the best thing I did with this game was just dive straight right in. Well, knowing
how long? Not being like, do I need to play this? Like, you've seen the lists that we've got already. We're not going to go into it here, but I think it's crazy not long.
Important.
Really?
Yeah, Yeah, I do think
somewhere
so.
Chris Hyde is watching this podcast going, another one. Because
no, I feel like
we're both trying to get through our lists and it's just getting longer.
Oh, definitely, but I just think like
fucking Halo,
Life is Strange: True Colors is a game where a lot of people are just going to pass on because
how many episodes is it? Is it
5?
One?
5.
And are they like
You're
an hour
about
each?
maybe,
substantial.
Yeah, near 2.5, depending on like.
Even if you played like an episode a week or an episode.
Yeah, but I
played an episode a night. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And it's like watching a movie in a sense, doing it that way. But like, there's a lot to be discussed. I think there really is, and like I think the hardcore Life is Strange fan base are obviously after playing it.
Is there a hardcore Life is Strange fan base?
I'd say there's a lot of people who.
I didn't mean that in a shitty way. Like
this kind of thing, like.
But that's the other thing about these games is there was a period where this style of game, and this is going back now, where the Telltale explosion happened, and Christ, let's not dwell on that for too long now.
Lord, yeah.
But then this came along, and I actually did enjoy Life is Strange. I'm struggling to remember if I played Life is Strange 2 because
it was the brothers.
I don't think I played Life is Strange 2. I played some sort of demo where it was like you were
Captain Sensible.
No,
not Captain Sensible.
No, it's not Captain Fartpants, is it? What? But Captain Something. Captain Something.
Captain
you know what
Sensible
I mean?
was a band from the 70s.
But that prequel
the lads,
or demo, I played that. I definitely didn't play Life is Strange 2. I think I played Before the Storm. Was that what was that one?
That came after the first Life is Strange.
Yeah.
Where you played as
some
girl
with a hat.
Yes, I did play that. Yeah, I played that one. So I'm all over the shop with these.
Adam, I have to say, if you were saying straight off that you enjoyed the first Life is Strange, there's no way in hell you're going to dislike this.
But I haven't played one of these since, really.
It's more of a game now, though.
Oh, okay. That's now not being funny. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say that, but
it's not just there's only certain points where you move around, and the rest is all like it's very much compelling. You're free to kind of walk around a lot of the time and explore and that. So it does feel more like you got more control over it.
The music and everything, Ed. I'm telling you, man. Like. You'll be kind of kicking yourself, really. Like I don't know where to land with you in terms of like your game of the years.
Hang on. Let me put it to you this way. This is a simpler discussion to have here. Of these 3 games, put them in order. You can both do this. Of which I should play as a priority for Game of the Year discussion. Should I finish Tales of Arise? Bear in mind, I've got a long way to go. Finish Scarlet Nexus, which I also have a very long way to go, or start Life is Strange: True Colors.
Would you rather go first to answer that, Chris?
Scarlet Nexus, man. That's like my favourite game this year. Potentially. Who knows?
Yeah. Halo, yeah.
No, honestly, it's one of it's in the top 3. It's
I don't know what happened to me with that game because I played the demo and I was like, this is the most incredible thing ever. And then we had it pre-released. I played a bit of it, but I was playing something else as well. I think
amazing.
It just constantly evolves, throughout the whole game.
I just saw it hit Game Pass, and I'm like, should I start it again? No, you've got to save, man.
Yeah,
you've got to save.
I won't go from the beginning.
Here's the thing: you should be playing all 3. That's just the answer there, right? The thing about this is, Ed, Tales of Arise and Scarlet Nexus, you have a long way to go. Life is Strange, you could definitely finish. You could definitely finish that.
That is an appealing idea that I could actually just do it.
And I think you'd absolutely want to per chapter. You would be like, holy shit, this is just like presentation is delivered. I really, really think you need to play it.
Okay. Adam, for you.
Thank you.
For you, I will play it. Okay?
Thank you.
I didn't say now or this year even. I just said I will play it.
You have to do it this year, man.
Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
not doing the Game of the Year pod and having this.
But you can still talk about it. I mean, you're not telling... Mick Fraser is not playing Life is Strange.
I know, and I know Chris can talk about it. I know, but like, do you know, there's certain people that you just kind of know a game to give to someone.
But the thing is myself and Chris Hyde and Chris White have we've all got kind of similar tastes, generally speaking, but my tastes, whereas like the Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, I think Chris White, here, present, is one of the people I most align with, more often than not. Chris Hyde would probably be number 2 on that list, if not a joint number 1. So if you're saying I need to play it, you're saying he needs to play it as well. And I'm telling you now, he won't be happy. I'm not happy. I'm really not happy that someone's just gone, you must play... I mean, we've been doing these Game of the Year, and I'm not. This is not just some long promotional trail for the Game of the Year pods, but we've been doing them for a very long time. and I've always say it, and I always mean it. It's the thing I kind of look forward to the most of podcasts, like all year. But that list's looking ridiculous for a year where people have been like, "Well, it's not been great, mate." You might want to check the list because it got updated recently. Let's put it this way: at the moment, there's a whole category missing. Not going to say what it was. It was in last year's, and I'd left the space saying, I think we need a new category here. Right now, and hey, we're live. I'm looking at it going, I don't think we're going to have time. Because what's in the other lists already in terms of length, I mean, the remaster category is insane this year. I didn't even, until we sat down, get out. Until we, I know that's going to be a discussion because it is.
Oh yeah, I'll be talking about it.
It's fair enough.
Yeah, you will.
But not today. But with
your dog
that category, in terms of that category, it's like typing them out and then getting everyone to add them in. It's like, oh my god, this has been the year of the remaster, really. I will add it to the list and I will send a text to Chris and I don't know.
Brilliant. Delighted.
I tell you what, I'll play that if you play Psychonauts and Deep Rock Galactic.
Oh fuck!
Which is last year technically. But
you can't give me 2 games and I give you 1.
Yeah, but one of them I just want you to play really badly. The other one is actually important.
I think Psychonauts is priority, really.
I think it has to be. Yeah, there's I'll think of a game you haven't played. Just not right now. You've got you need to finish Shin Megami Tensei. Because Chris, that's a top 2 contender, right? Right, Chris?
Yeah, that'll be.
He needs to get on that and finish before Halo comes out. He needs to play Halo.
Oh God, Halo's still to come out.
Yeah, that looked juicy.
Oh, it's gonna be good.
Before
Halo comes out, I'm playing Cyberpunk. That's what I've decided.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Psychonauts. Fine, sure. Before we get out of here for an evening or a day or a morning or an afternoon, wherever you're listening, we did have a question earlier on from Deadbeat Punk. He said about the multiplayer of Forza Horizon 5. When do you get to that point of the multiplayer unlocking?
Oh, it's pretty much.
I think it's from the start, isn't it?
Straight away, isn't it?
I don't remember it saying, "Hey, you can go and do multiplayer." I remember when I started
think you literally
the game, there were people on the map.
Complete the first stage.
Yeah, but that's like the tutorial, anyway, isn't it? What do you mean?
Well, the first stage of the first festival, the different races open up, and they're like co-op or you can literally pick solo or co-op.
Yeah, you're right.
Even the missions.
You're absolutely right from the very first thing. Yeah.
So that side of it is pretty much straight away. There's the other stuff. There's like other stuff multiplayer wise a bit later, but you can literally race with anyone from the word go.
I mean, I was seeing drivatars on my. It's connected. You can play it offline because at one point I think the servers went down temporarily and it kicked me offline. And I'll be honest, if I didn't notice a huge difference, it was really well done actually. Don't quote us, but I would say within 40 minutes tops, I think. I mean, the first race is 10-ish, but it introduces a tutorial, then you drive to a Horizon site, and like you say, I think it's pretty much off you go. Huh. Yeah, there you go. There's the answer to that question. Chris, it's been absolutely lovely having you back, mate. I just want to say that. It really
has been, Chris.
It's been good to be back.
Yes, sir.
I'll be back forevermore. Hopefully.
In other news, he won't be available next week.
I am.
No, fair point.
Go on.
Do it again. Can you actually make your... I'm not doing that on camera.
No, that's always been an uncomfortable thing to do.
That sounds like it.
I could used to do it like...
For anyone listening to audio, you're hitting your ball bag off the mic.
It sounds like both sexual and violent.
Oh, you want to be in bed with me, mate?
Sounds like an offer. Adam Carroll, I hate to be like, oh, well, you're here all the time, but it's appreciated. You are here regularly, and it's nice to have you here.
Thank you, Adam.
But it really has been lovely to have Chris back, and I'm sure that the listeners and viewers will be over the moon, as I am and Adam is. So thank you both for being here anyway.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
To everybody else, go to patreon.com/GodIsAGeek, and if you want to chuck $1 or £1 a month at us, you get to see this. Often we chat before the pod, and sometimes we put that up as like a little extra bonus video. There's plenty of reasons to go and have a look at the website, which is godisageek.com. So please do that. Follow us on social media. We will have a competition coming up soon. I nearly forgot about this. We'll have a competition coming up soon where you will want to follow us on Twitter. So at godisageek. You will want this. It's of decent value. It's something people will want. So follow us on the Twitter. That's probably enough pimping, in it. Also, just in case you don't know, if you are just watching us or listening to us on your iTunes or whatever, or iPod or Apple, whatever the bloody thing kids do these days. I went slightly off the rails there and become an old man. I was like, I'm just going to double down on it. I'm just going to double down on the old man. I've got a pair of slippers in the lounge. But yeah, we're on Spotify. I don't actually say it often enough. We're on Spotify if you want. I don't know if people use Spotify for podcasts very often, but I know some people do. We're on there. Just search God is a Geek, one word, on Spotify, I think. Probably find us with both. Other way, there you go. Thank you very much for being here, and thank you for watching us, listening to us, and supporting us in whatever way you choose to do. And we will see you next week, or whenever you choose to listen. Bye-bye for now.